Our NewsNation team coverage on the ground. We're working all the angles for you. NewsNation's Libbey Dean is in Florida, and The Hill Sunday's anchor Chris Steyerwalt is here as well. And we're going to start with you, Libbey, there at Mar-a-Lago, sort of solidifying this as the winter White House there, having a skiff, being able to watch all of this unfold overnight. And the president and his foreign policy military team watching those attacks live there and just briefing reporters. What's the latest?
Yeah, as you said there, Anna, this makeshift war room that we saw put together just inside Mar-a-Lago for President Trump to launch these strikes on Venezuela. He gave the green light last night, and then it played out all this morning. But President Trump also now saying that the U.S. is going to run Venezuela, but we don't know how long that will last. Actually, who is in charge? That was something I directly asked the president. But we know that the president actually said that Secretary of State Marco Rubio has spoken with that vice president, who is now the president there in Venezuela. Let's take a listen to my question to President Trump.
You said that the U.S. is going to run Venezuela. So who's in power right now?
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but that's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they have. But we're going to run it properly, and we're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of.
So as I mentioned, this is very interesting to see these pictures come out of this makeshift war room that we're seeing inside Mar-a-Lago. But before I talk about that, take a look at this picture of Nicolás Maduro that you just saw. He's aboard Iwo Jima headed to New York. But these pictures of that makeshift war room I was talking about, President Trump seated next to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, CIA Director Ratcliffe there in the room as well. All of those officials in the room for this press conference as well. We know President Trump gave that green light for Operation Absolute Resolve. Then this was launched in the early hours of this morning after we know it was delayed actually due to days of cloudy weather in Venezuela. Then they launched this attack. A lot of Americans wondering likely what this actually looked like, because we're not likely going to see that video of what actually took place, given the operational security, of course, that the U.S. wants to protect, as we know that they could conduct similar things like this in the future. I want us to take a listen to what President Trump had to say about that operation. You were one of the only people to watch this all play out live. What was Maduro doing when the U.S. forces entered what I assume would be his home? And also, was there any point where the U.S. was considering if Maduro pushed back or resisted killing Maduro?
It could have happened. It could have happened. He was trying to get into a safe place. You know, the safe place is all steel. And he wasn't able to make it to the door because our guys were so fast. They went through the opposition so fast, and there was a lot of opposition. He was trying to get to a safe place, which wasn't safe because we would have had the door blown up in about 47 seconds.
So as this press conference went on, Anna, something that we learned from President Trump was he was starting to say this quiet part out loud, that this was largely the U.S. trying to control those oil reserves in Venezuela. The president saying those largest oil companies in the U.S., they're going to spend billions of dollars to fix the badly broken infrastructure, that oil infrastructure there, and then also start making that money off of that oil in Venezuela. And we know, of course, Anna, in the weeks leading up to this, the U.S. was conducting these seizures of those oil tankers, and of course also conducting those strikes on those alleged drug boats in the Caribbean as well. And then we saw those strikes play out, the president detailing what the U.S. is calling Operation Absolute Resolve. And that was what you felt standing in that room there, asking the president these questions. You saw him flanked by his officials and showing that resolve, and the Trump administration touting what they believe was a success. Anna.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.